Topic of the day, Trump versus Harris. Make it make sense. Only on the P.R.E.S.S Podcast. Let's go. This episode of the P.R.E.S.S is sponsored by the e-firm Don't Let Your Loved Ones Become an American Prisoner. Visit us at efirm.org.
Welcome to another episode of the P.R.E.S.S. P.R.E.S.S. That's the Prisoner Release Education Sanity Series. On this podcast, we discuss things from economics to politics, religion, miseducation to proper education, the science of incarceration, and how we choose to educate before we incarcerate. And we know that incarceration deals with a mental incarceration that is followed by the physical. And so in that case, we are always trying to speak with dialogue that will actually free up the consciousness of humanity in order for them to make sane decisions. And today we're going to tune right into some political issues because we're actually in the current election where people are actually about to go out and vote. And most people are voting Democrat or Republican when they vote. So we just want to get into the different aspects of certain political agendas that might be on the table that people need to be aware about and that people actually need to pay attention to in order to make sound decisions, or more sound decisions, I'm going to say, because you may not become fully educated on politics from this one interview about politics. So like I said, we discuss more than politics on the show, but we definitely going to tune into some aspects of what's going on with the political environment in 2024 today as we approach the November election. So, peace. I got my guest up here, King Ja.
One love, one love.
Yeah. And so, King Ja, y'all might have seen him before. We had podcasts that we actually, interviews that we went through and we haven't even released to you yet. But he wanted to come back on and discuss some things that he really see as necessity for the people in society to really know and understand what they headed for if they make certain decisions. And without me trying to actually explain what another brother has on his mind, I'd like to let them have the free range to actually do that for themselves. Yeah. So peace.
One love, peace, peace, peace. Greetings to all the righteous, greetings to all the unrighteous, greetings to the living, greetings to the matter, greetings to everything, greetings to the Most High. One love.
That's what's up. All right. So we're going right into the topic. Like, what exactly do you see happening in America right now, Ja?
The downfall.
The downfall.
Downfall of America. The downfall of the corporation of the United States.
Okay. And that corporation has been established for some time now, right? As a corporation, it's been established for some time. I mean, we could go back further than March the 4th, 1789, when the Revolution War pretty much had caused the leaders of this society to actually bring in the Constitution. In 1789 on March the 4th, we know that Constitution became relevant as supreme law over the land, correct? Incorrect. If it's incorrect, you're welcome to say that, but I'm asking you
to a certain extent. To a certain extent.
Okay.
To a certain extent. And the reason why is not to go against what you're saying or doubt it or
no, it's not what I'm saying. It's what the paperwork say.
Okay, right. That's the establishment, but that ain't what I actually, see as fact.
Okay. What you see? What is it that you see as fact?
Order.
Order.
Yeah, order. I know that we've been programmed to think that it's supposed to be said this way, and just because it's said that way, it's supposed to be that way. That's the whole trick. You see what I'm saying? And if we is actually living by what we are taught from them, the oppressors, you see what I'm saying? Then we will always be trapped in that box of ignorance.
So what you're saying is the order that they established on March the 4th, 1789 as a constitution isn't the actual order.
Well, the order that they established is law.
Mm-hmm.
See, the righteous, we don't have law. We have order, a way of life. You see what I'm saying? That's an order. Like the sun, the clouds.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It goes, it's in an order. It's not chaos.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's a universal order. And we are taught to use certain words, law and all of that in their establishment. But when we acknowledge their law, then we forget our truth, which is the order.
So you don't think that the Constitution was put in play to bring forth some type of order to humanity, to the humanity population of America?
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay.
I'm
just trying to follow you and make sure that
that
people follow you and make sure that they can understand what you're trying to say.
Right.
So, because pretty much my understanding of the Constitution as supreme law over the land was to actually give range to establishing more order in time. A lot of people say that, hey man, there's a new world order, and the new world order is going to cause this or that to happen. And basically, I'm trying to understand all this new world order language and exactly what is it about this new world order that I may not understand at times, because everybody say they know a lot, but when it comes to actually educating the people, they ain't not educating the people. So I want to be educated personally on what it is that I may not know when people are talking about these things, such as, now I've studied a lot of books on different things that come, hearing Kissinger reports, and there's different books I could go into that establish different orders outside of just what we see as a constitution. Because if you break down the Constitution, the first articles, for instance, breaks down in the where the first three is, it breaks down to what, dealing with the legislation, the executive, and the judicial branches.
Right.
Of things and how,
as a roster, I don't get too much into the political papers, the laws.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm aware of them, and I also know what they do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
But we want to be aware of what order you're dealing with. When you telling me that there's a need to actually establish a certain awareness in society about why the chaos exists, why the confusion exists. Because right now, I'm looking at a country that's totally separated, totally divided. Everybody has an opinion, but nobody has a solution. So my thing is, I want the solution. And so, and with me trying to find a solution to give to this next generation who basically won't listen to nothing but rappers, I need to have an understanding on how do we approach these youth and educate them on structure so that they're not in a society that's chaotic and confusion is all over the place. And basically, when we tell them, hey, you need to have some independence, we can't just tell them that and don't give them no structure, because you already know that a peace is a form of chaos. If there's no peace, there's chaos. If there's no order and things not organized, then you got chaos. There's no peace in that. People are not just going to walk around. For instance, if you suspend the police right now in society, all the police forces, what you think going to happen? What will happen in society right now if you just suspend all the police forces?
Well,
because we know what's happening with...
It'll be a war of good and bad.
It'll be a war of good and bad. It's a war of good and bad right now because you got police forces right now where, just like in Chicago, they showing on the media that through the media some woman gets shot in the face by a police officer who basically has no empathy for the job that he's been hired to carry out, and it's gone viral over the news reports. For instance, that's a form of chaos and war where you got a police force supposed to be established to provide order. Then you have police that's on this force that's totally out of order. So that's what I'm saying is when you say good and bad.
Well, see, the thing is, there's also people, that is out here doing right. You see what I'm saying? And they have their own way to do things without making it or bringing a scene upon themselves.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? And to do it on a low, well, I'm not even going to say the frequency is low. I'm just saying a low vibration or a quiet vibration. But here's the thing. As long as you doing what you're supposed to do and it's right to get the job done, it ain't no certain way to do it. The thing is to get the job done. You see what I'm saying?
So
whatever you're doing, make sure you're doing it right and for a right cause.
Okay, so you put things in motion, all right? It's like we here right now, you and I, and whoever else is outside of the audience, we ain't got to mention no names, that's watching this live right now. When we put something in motion right now, what we put in motion has to be structured and organized. Otherwise, we're just moving and we're out of order.
Bingo.
We have no agenda.
Bingo. Bingo.
So what I'm saying
Bingo.
is, from out the motion, you have to have order. Meaning, once you make a move, you have to make that move based on a certain order of operations, based on a plan. That plan, that POA, that plan of action, which is the POA, that plan of action has to be an organized plan of action. So when I talk about, for instance, if I come around right now and I go tell a child, yo, we need to suspend the Constitution for this, that, and this reason. If I say that, then I need to have a direct bill, meaning a direct, educated approach and conversation to these youth about why I'm saying that.
That's why you need to be conscious before you step out there.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to have an order, a plan. So I want to know, before I even get into the plan you might have a plan to say, okay, if, for instance, we got Trump running for office right now, we have Biden was running for office, but now, since they see that Biden wasn't going to beat Trump, they done put Kamala in there, Kamala, Miss Harris in the position to actually run against Trump. I guess I'm looking at the psychology of that is they would get more black voters, they would get more women empowered to vote from the community, because you got this Me Too movement out now where these women are just bent on, like, we need power.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
Does it matter?
Does it matter?
Correct.
Does what matter?
That either one of them each one of them have their own agenda.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
So
that's what they're giving to the public.
You saying, does it matter? Does what matter? Does it matter that either one of them, both of them have an agenda?
Does it matter that either one of them be in office? Because
Okay.
we already know that they're giving the public two different agendas.
Uh-huh.
I'm basically talking to the public.
Okay.
Because they the ones are voting. I don't vote.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? I don't vote, but I pay attention to what's going on.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So when I'm paying attention to what's going on, I say, well, if Trump get in office, he gonna do what the elites want him to do, the people that's really running everything.
Mm-hmm.
And if she get in office, she gonna do the same thing. You know why? Because both of them work for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So if you,
Yeah, whenever you got a corporation, you have a president, a vice president, a treasurer, a secretary. These states, this country, every city, they're all set up as corporations. So
Correct.
yes, they're ran by people who work for other people. That's no doubt. However, they supposed to work for the people. But this is not what they always do. And see, when I talk about educating society, I know that society need to be educated on political science so that they really know their options. They have other options.
political science.
Yeah, political science, meaning they need to understand that there's various parties, for instance, besides just the political and just the Democrat and the Republican Party. They need to know how it started out. They need to understand what was the Federalist Party. And in 1882, when the Democrat Party first was formed, they need to understand what was this Democratic Republican Party. What was it? And why did it form? And what is all these other parties involved? You have an Alliance Party. You have a Green Party. You have a Libertarian Party. You have various parties, a Constitution Party. You have other parties that actually make up the government. However, who runs the government is another story. But you have other parties. You have the caucus, who is considered people that's just in the White House or that's in certain positions, maybe in the House or working on the Senate. You have different aspects of, when I say political science, meaning what are the facts of this political system that's making it up. When you go into the Constitution and you start breaking down the first three articles that we spoke on just here a few minutes ago, you start getting into the legislative, the executive, the judicial. When we talk about the presidency, we talk about the executive branch. That's what we're talking about. So we're saying, okay, the executive branch does what? What is they hired to do? What are they positioned? A lot of people talk about Project 2025 right now, and how a lot of these things that we're speaking on right now is at risk of being suspended and basically just put out of rotation and say, hey, we're going to just do it this way. So the unorder that you're talking about, see, we ain't seen a form of unorder until we see there's no government. And these people have no clue mentally on how to grow their own food or how to actually provide food to a grocery store. But they got all this knowledge. See, all this knowledge ain't nothing without what? And I heard Nuri Muhammad said on 19 Keys podcast recently. If you don't have character, and a bunch of knowledge, he said it's like, a ship sitting on shallow water. It can't go nowhere. So it's like, what is your character? Meaning your character is made up by that integrity. Meaning, what is it that you do when ain't nobody watching? How do you practice at that point? That's some integrity. Integrity is what you doing when I can't see you.
That's facts. That's
see,
facts.
what I'm doing, I'm studying.
Right.
When you can't see me, I'm somewhere studying, reading, buying books, studying books. And see, one of the problems is nobody want to study nowadays. Nobody want to read. And the dangers with reading nowadays also is that if you read the wrong stuff, you're misinformed.
Right.
If you don't read at all, you're not informed.
That's facts.
And so I'm trying to figure out, like, where do we start when it comes to educating our youth? Because they're not just out here running crazy for nothing. They're running crazy because there's no real education being put in play. A lack of education is mental incarceration.
Yeah, so we got to show them.
So that man, we got to show them, bro. I like that. You got to lead by example. You can't just talk.
Right.
You got to show and prove. You got to lead by example. And when people talk about showing and proving, I ask them, where's your schools?
Right.
Where's your programs? Where's your curriculums?
Right.
With terminal objectives.
Facts.
Meaning there's an end goal. There's a terminal objective. Because a lot of people got an opinion nowadays. You heard everywhere. I heard amongst my 5% brothers. I heard amongst my Christian community. I heard amongst my Muslim community. A lot of people got a lot to say. But where is your real solution?
Facts.
Not just for yourself, with self-interest. Where is the interest for the overall aspect of humanity? So this is what I get into when I look at Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. I look at the facts. Because there's some things about Trump that a lot of people are being misinformed about. Straight up. And I ain't just talking about him having 34 felonies. Cause I don't care if a felony become the president of the United States. I'm an ex-felon. I own the ex-felon entrepreneurship retail museum. But the ex-felon is the past piece.
Right.
The entrepreneurship and retail practices,
right,
that's the present.
Right.
The museums is the future.
Right.
All around the country. In every state. P.R.E.S.S skill development training centers with vocational schools in it, as well as at least at minimum, if not a live tour, a virtual experience of that museum tour before they even go and enter those vocational trades.
That's facts.
To understand what is real incarceration. Because no child's born with a criminal mind.
That's right.
But a lack of education creates a criminal mind.
That's correct.
And just like now, when you're making informed decisions, we see that. A lot of people at the voting poll, they are voting based on no real, true information. Just because I heard I was in the barbershop just recently, matter of fact, yesterday, and I heard a conversation about Project 225. And I was like, okay, Project 25. What it's about?
Right.
Everything people told me was about was not what I read when I really researched it. I'm like, what is it about? See, so we pass around a lot of misinformation. So I pulled it up and started reading it. I went to Barnes and Nobles and tried to find a book on it, and they have none. I found out it's a lot of authors wrote on it.
Wow. On
Project 225.
Wow.
But see, I know from being an author myself, some authors write with inexperienced
it's supposed to
information.
be over
Information that they haven't experienced.
300 or 3,000 different pages. Which one is it? So many.
They got so many writings on
Right.
it. But my thing is, which form of all of those writings are not true? You can't convince me that everybody wrote on truth and everybody wrote on actual facts. Some people wrote on based on their emotions. Some people wrote on, because some people are only loyal to what they feel. Their feelings is all they loyal to. They ain't loyal to no real truth. They loyal to what they feel, which is a biased approach to writing. If you ain't gonna deal with logic, the reasonable approach, you're dealing with a biased approach to presenting the information you're presenting. That's why even when I write on books like the one right there, if you don't want your man to run, I apply the same thing to the men that I apply to the women, pretty much. If these principles are good for them, and you want this out of them, then you have to be able to balance that principle in yourself. However, we understand the feminine gene from the masculine gene. So I ain't really saying that everything a man do, a woman should do. In fact, part of Project 2025, they says that I read somewhere it was saying they want to stop men from participating in women's sports. If you're a biological male, you shouldn't participate in a women's sport.
So what about the women?
Is that wrong?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't get into.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't answer that.
Okay.
Oh, I
so
can answer.
Well, I can tell you like this. I don't want.
I just
Even
don't
though
get
I don't
into
really
it.
care for my daughters that play basketball, but I don't want my daughter on the basketball court playing with 10 men.
Right.
She got 9 men on the
Right.
court, and she the 10th one that is her on the court.
Because somebody else,
9 men and 1
somebody
woman.
that's playing gonna
I
try
don't
to
want
hurt
my
her.
daughter on the basketball
Somebody
court like
that's playing gonna try to hurt her.
that. Ain't they? Even if they ain't trying,
Because it's
that man's strength.
Yeah.
If he not he's more masculine. His masculinity is more aggressive and more prone to.
The
When
force.
I give it a shoulder, it's force. It's
Right.
it's a different force than a
Right.
woman's force. Unless you got some woman out here that just been lifting weights all her life that I don't want her, and she built up like a man. I don't want her. I want a feminine woman.
Right.
You know, I don't want no masculine woman.
That's right.
So my thing is, what exactly are we teaching our youth? Like, and I'm not saying it's things in that project 2025 I read that it wasn't all bad, but then I listened to some more stuff about this project 225, and it was kind of like, I like, well, this, if you gonna come in here and just suspend the whole government and just deport everybody, who are you deporting? Who are you trying to deport? I gotta question that. However, I do know from reading and studying that the borders have been taken totally over by letting anybody come into this country. Anybody can come into this country. And basically, my thing is, when you got a house, do you let anybody come into your house? No, you don't let anybody just come into your house. And let's look at Congo and Venezuela, for instance, right now. Are you literally really sending your, and I'm going to do some more research on this, are you really sending your criminals over here?
Right.
Because if so, that's not right. That's not cool. We got children to protect, bro. Are you really just sending your criminals, giving them the option to get out of jail, and this is where they landing place at?
Because England did it.
I was going to get into that.
England
England did it. The people that England sent over here to manage this land and colonize this country for them, they was criminals. They sent their criminals over here. They were European criminals. However, we understood that happened. You know, we went through processes of war. We went through processes of trying to get this right or get that right. The country's still going through processes of trying to get it right. But at this point, in my lifetime, this country ain't never been divided as it is today.
Right.
This country is totally divided. And that's a problem to me. That's what made me, I wasn't never the type to worry about politics. But I started realizing, hold on, I got to understand this better. I need to understand how this country's set up, for real. Because I ain't with doing a whole lot of talking and can't understand how this country's set up. Because if you can't understand how it's set up, you can't run it.
Yeah,
If a time comes, you need to run it.
We got to study them like they study us.
Yeah, you got to study yourself like they studied you.
Yeah.
You know, we got to study ourselves.
You gotta
like they
know.
study us.
You gotta know yourself, but you gotta watch them because they always studying.
Right. And you should be always studying, which I know you are as a person. I know you personally. You study. But at the same time, and I'm not, this not no political test of your knowledge or a political test of any of our people's knowledge. This is a means of educating our people into the right information that they need to understand in order to start making some sound decisions about who gonna run them and who not.
And the time is now.
The time was before now, brother,
Yeah,
but
now.
definitely now. We need to really take a look
It's
at
always now.
what is happening in America. Because I'm not going for Kamala just because she a black woman.
Right.
Just because she a black woman and she say she gonna do this, and I ain't knocking her for having a white husband. That's her business, who she got as a husband. But I'm not gonna be fooled just because she got black skin and she want to come up into a presidency talking about what she gonna do and what she might do, and she want to talk with Taraji P. Henderson and all that now and talk this sister talk. I'm not falling for that. Who are you and what is your agenda?
Was she doing all that?
And it's respect. She can come up here and state that agenda herself. I'll let her right up here and talk to her without even being like, I know I seem kind of aggressive. I talk loud and all that, but we ain't got to have that. I can talk smooth to her and soft. How you doing, Miss Kamala?
Hey, be yourself, man.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, be yourself.
All the time. But my thing is, I don't want nobody to try to misconstrue that and say, hey, he too aggressive. No, I'm passionate, very passionate about these topics. And I seen a woman interview Trump recently, and I was like, why? And she was a black woman. I was like, why is she coming off like that? She came off like she was just overly excited to interview Trump, or that she was just it's not overly excited, she was overly angry. I'm like, why is you doing that? And it won't not one black man on her stage. It was her and two other black women.
Yeah, she was already. She manifesting who she want to be in office. The
Right.
head, yeah.
And they was all three black women questioning Trump. And he said, first of all, you came out very rude. He was right. She came out rude. The way she came off, she didn't come off, and I ain't gonna say she wasn't passionate about what she was saying.
Right.
But she displayed an emotional type of energy more than a logical or
Right.
reasonable
Right.
type of energy.
Right.
When she asked when basically what she was leading to asking him is, why should we vote for you as black people? Why do you want the black vote now, Donald Trump?
Mm-hmm.
And I know people who had told me they would never like Donald Trump.
Right.
I know black people, black men that told me that. I have a friend that told me that he's a black man.
Right.
Because one of the Central Park 5 is his first cousin. And Trump put up money to basically have them people convicted.
Right.
He was willing to pay money to have them convicted when they was going to sentencing. And basically, that wasn't them. They wasn't the rapists. And they did time for it. And there's a movie out about that now. I talked to one of the brothers on the phone.
What's the name of the movie? No.
I'll give you, I can't tell you exactly the name of it, but it's about the Central Park 5, the brothers that did time out in New York. When when that white woman got raped in the park.
Yeah.
You know, but my thing is, like, I don't like giving misinformation, so I'm not gonna try to give you the name of the movie. I don't know the exact name.
I
of the movie.
did some research on that.
Yeah, but I can understand those black guys' anger towards that situation. But then I also understand if five white men raped a black woman in a park, I would be mad too, as a black man. So I do think Trump was wrong for not doing his research and not knowing the facts and jumping into the mix of that and offering money for their conviction or whatever. I think that was wrong. I do. For one, they didn't do it according to the law, and they got lawsuit money after they was released. So, but they went through things before they was released.
Right.
Them Central Park 5 brothers went through some tragic in them prisons, especially the youngest one.
Right.
He was just a kid, a child. But Trump didn't have empathy for that. But does that make Trump total demon? Or would it make me a total demon if the media feed to me that these 5 dudes, white men, did this to this black woman. Like they did. I know for a fact. I got the book Without Sanctuary where white people were hanging black men all over the place. Raping black women, doing barbecues. I had to get over that hatred. After a lot of years it took me, when I first got introduced to history and started learning what had happened to me that caused me to have this incarcerated mindset that sent me to 10 years and 10 months in Virginia State Penitentiary off a 27-year sentence. I had to ask myself what happened. And I started educating myself on the history of European development in this society and what type of roles my ancestors had played in the development of this country and what happened to our people. And as I started to educate myself, I had to learn to control those emotions.
Yeah, that's powerful. Yeah.
I had to learn to, this ain't all white people.
Right.
And all black people ain't good.
Right.
So who are these people in heart, whether you black or you white? Who are you in heart? And who are you up here in the mind? What is your mind state? I had to question these things because a lot of the racism and the way we are taught when we first come into certain knowledge, it's a trick. Meaning it's designed to create hatred. And you can't do nothing in hate but self-destruct. Everything got to be done in love. That's why you said one love. You always say that, one love.
One love.
Because one love, because love is first.
I gave an example of, that's the words. Let me show you the picture.
Mm-hmm.
We was building earlier, right? As in casting a rock. What kids do, cast rock in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the ripples, or the complete circles, 360-degree circles.
Right.
Then another one borns another one.
Yeah.
So we was talking about the order of the divine, the first order, right, of the universal, which is divine oneness.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
The second order is just important and makes a lot of sense, is the order of vibration.
Mm-hmm.
So we are that rock. And when our vibration from our words, because words is energy, which is life, that's us. So the ripples, the more powerful your consciousness is within your life, your words, your vibration, the stronger the ripples. It keeps moving and moving and moving.
Right.
That's an example of the two magnets. You see, one repels the other one.
Mm-hmm.
If it ain't right in the exact, you see what I'm saying? So therefore, when the air likes come together, that magnetic ripple is more powerful. You see what I'm saying? So we are that active force. The emotion is around us. It's our job as a man, as being conscious, with the superior consciousness, which is the most high within us. This is our temple. When we come together, that ripple get even stronger. So we have to go inside and know ourselves first and how strong our mind is, because we was born into this illusion. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And our peoples don't know that. But our peoples is constantly waking up, realizing that, hold up, something ain't right. We following the system.
Mm-hmm.
You see, when we follow the American system, we following their laws, we following their programs, and it's not doing nothing for us.
Right.
Because they knew that the word was life. So if you take your original word from you and they give you their word, then your frequency, your vibration, the current is not as strong to push that. You see what I'm saying? Unlike a way.
Right. Well, we already know that. And I ain't gonna say we already know. Me and you and I may know. A lot of the people of American population don't know that we was taken out of our own ability to speak our own language, and we was taught a language that's basically self-destructing for our community and for ourselves. And when I say language, that language was taught in English. That language was a form of English, meaning there's a language that's English have many languages, So pretty much we know that there's various forms of language that people speak. And everybody don't speak what we call a universal language, meaning they not educated to conversate on various topics. And that's not always a bad thing. But my thing is, can you understand the need to educate yourself so that as much as possible, so that in the case where you need to converse on a certain topic, you can at least follow the topic. This is where we go wrong in this society, I think. We take it like, all I need to know how to do is build car motors. No. You might need to know something else, especially when you're in a society where you can't depend on somebody to teach you to grow your food. You need to know the language of planting a seed into the ground to produce a crop. At least something about it, so you got some type of means of starting that process.
Right.
This is why I take buying books so important, going to the libraries. Some of our people in society, we just always denouncing everything. Man, I don't mess with that. Man, I need to know what a Christian think. I need to know what a Muslim think. I need to know what a 5%er think. I need to know what an Orthodox Muslim from an unorthodox Muslim think. I need to know the language as much as possible. I need to know what the Republican think as well as I know what the Democrat think. I need to know the opposing parties to all of them. I need to know why they're opposing them. Because our people is just running to the polls, voting out of emotions. That's it. Voting based on what they've heard. Very few people is voting with a conscious reason on why they voting for this person. And I would love to have Donald Trump up here just to speak his own piece. It's a lot I want to ask him. I want to ask him, one question I want to know from him is, okay, why do you think that you're able to reduce gasoline prices by 31% compared to what they are right now? How are you able to reduce the interest rates? How are you able to reduce the cost of housing by 39%? But when you're out of office, it's skyrocket. I want to know. See, some of the things I do know how he did it, but I want to know the details out his mouth. And then I want to know from Kamala, for instance, if you come in office, am I going to be able to afford a house again? Or is it going to get worse? I want to know these things. Because from what I'm seeing, when you came in office, as a Democrat, the housing prices shot up. Sky high. Not to say that they ain't go up when Republicans was in office. But my thing is, what went down? Because there was a Democrat in office before the Republican came in office. But my thing is, a lot of things that it's like you got the Democrats getting in office, one thing happened. Then you got the Republican getting in office, another thing happened. It's always chaos. Soon as the Republican get in office, we start hearing about police shooting people. We ain't heard none of that during the Democrat run.
That is.
We ain't heard none about no police shooting nobody.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, we hearing about police shooting people again. When it's time for the Republican to potentially get in office again. So what kind of games is the media playing? CNN reporting one thing about Trump. Then Fox reporting one thing about Biden. Like, what kind of games we really playing? Who's really funding? Who is the billionaires really funding these parties? Somebody from the arms that deal with firearms, they're going to give the Republican Party billions of dollars. Some pharmaceutical big pharma will give the Democrats billions of dollars. How do we win?
Right.
How do we win as a people of American society if we're dealing with this greed being put in leadership to run us based on who's going to pay the biggest dollar? And now I'm going to be able to do this. Don't leave Obama out, because everybody have issues. But my thing is, when are we going to address these issues in honesty?
Right.
I don't care if it's Obama. I don't care if it's Donald Trump. I don't care if it's Kamala. I don't care if it's George Bush. I don't care who the president is of this country. When are we going to start addressing these issues outside of our emotions? Right. Because there's some bad decisions being made in a lot of situations where we being ignored. And when I say we, as black men, we're being ignored. All the way around the 360 total, we're being ignored. And anytime one of us rise to power, we're being made to look bad. We're being made to look like we the problem.
That's facts.
So I need somebody to address that.
Right.
Like, how do you address that?
Right.
Because, see, I'm addressing it much as possible. Like I said, my first form of go-to is knowledge of self. Is educate myself and study who I am. Then I can start studying who you are.
Right.
See, I can't worry about who you are when I don't know myself. But once I learn who I am, now I can start looking at who you are. Because I know my intentions for you is right and exact.
Right, right.
So now if your intentions ain't right and exact for me and I know myself, I'm going to be able to see that.
Correct.
If I don't know myself, I can't see that.
Right. That's facts.
So I need to know, what is this war against this black man about?
Right.
What is it about? Is somebody scared for us to be in leadership?
Right. Right.
Yeah, and so and that's a problem for me because I'm a black man.
Right.
See, I ain't with the racism, but at the same time, I'm going to acknowledge those who are. I'm going to see it for what it is, whether that's a woman that's black or a woman that's white. Whether that's a man that's white or a man that's Chinese.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think the reason why they don't want to see a black man, because they know if a black man get that much in power, he know that he's black, so he don't have no choice but to help his other brethren or brothers or other black men?
Well, one thing I do honestly believe that is this right here. Obama was in leadership. He was a black man.
Right. Right. So
he was a black man.
So that had nothing to do with it.
It's bigger than just that.
Right.
The thing is, which black man you put in leadership?
Right.
Who is the black man you gonna put in leadership? Are you gonna put one that's just gonna make decisions for you that you could control? Or are you gonna put one in leadership that's actually gonna make some logical decisions based on what's right?
Correct.
There's a difference. I mean, if the black skin don't fool me. Cause you got black skin, I ain't fooled by you cause you talking about you for black people and this and that. I'm like, are you for all people though?
Right.
And can you actually still have an agenda for yourself when you look in the mirror? And when I say yourself, for all your black fellow brothers, all your brothers that's black like you, can you consider what they going through? Because they going through some regardless if people want to admit it or not. For one, they're being miseducated from the womb about their real self.
Facts.
They're being miseducated from the womb. So my thing is, who's really standing up? Most black men that as soon as they get in a position where they get a little fame, they satisfied. Or they get enough money to buy a few little pieces of jewelry. I heard Farrakhan the other day. Farrakhan was like, he don't wear his jewelry no more. and I'm like, Farrakhan, no offense, I love you, brother, but you 70-some years old now.
Right.
You came out of that stage. I don't think there's nothing wrong with nobody wearing their jewelry. But I also agree with Farrakhan when he says that that jewelry shouldn't become your idol.
Correct.
And that when he says that most people are wearing it because they empty on the inside, I don't fit that shoe, bro, because I ain't empty on the inside. I'm not empty on the inside. I have a lot of love in me, a lot of sincerity in me for my people.
Right.
But I ain't gonna sit back and just not enjoy my life neither, because everybody enjoying their life. The pursuit of happiness is in every man.
Facts.
What makes you happy is what you seek to do.
Facts.
But I ain't made happy just by no jewelry. However, I understood what he was saying when he was saying a lot of people use their jewelry as a cover-up because they empty inside. But he also said they use their cars. But he also said he drive a Rolls Royce. Where he have a Rolls Royce. If he don't drive it, he said he have one. My thing is, and I ain't knocking nothing the minister do because I respect him. You know, I respect him. At the same time, I respect my desires too. I like my jewelry. And I get some more money, I'm going to buy some more jewelry. I bought a museum and put a whole educational platform in there. I don't see no bunch of black people running there, spending money trying to educate their kids. But I done toured a lot of them for free. But when it comes to paying for it, I ain't seen a lot of them run. So my thing is, I don't owe you every breath in my body. I have children too.
Right. Right.
You know, I can't neglect them trying to raise yours.
Right.
So you got to do your part.
Correct.
There's a certain point when I got to enjoy it. I think I'd have made more money than anybody around me. And I feel like I had the most less enjoyable life. I seen these broke jokers have all the fun. And while I've sat back and tried to wait on them and try to, come on, let's do this, let's do that. And the whole time they don't want to do nothing. They just sitting there. And I'm like, to the point where I get frustrated, I'm like, I can't just sit there with you. So at times when I went and bought a bracelet, it was to keep me motivated.
Right.
Well, at least I could go buy a bracelet and put that on and come. All right, man, what's up? But I come back, that still ain't solved nothing. I bought some more books. I bring them to the table. That ain't solved much because half of them don't want to read them. And I'm talking about the people that we grew up with.
Right.
I'm like, y'all don't want to do nothing. Only thing I can do with y'all is roll a blunt and smoke it. So I get tired of that. I stop smoking the weed.
Mine is being babysitted.
But I sat back and smoked weed for years with dudes, and I watched them. That's all we can do is smoke weed. We can't do nothing after that.
Right.
We can't read some books, try to open some businesses. I'm in this by myself. I was like, no, I got to make some changes because none of this working.
Right.
And I'm smoking with y'all, and I'm getting frustrated. And you know, anybody who knows smoking weed gives you more anxiety, especially if you got some on your mind, because it make you think more.
Right.
Start making you think.
Right.
So to the point like, no, I can't sit around and smoke weed with you. I can't do that. I need to do something else. I get a better high off of making moves and seeing things improve. I get more high off that.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
Yeah, so I'm like, what decisions are you going to make? And I'm talking to y'all people out there that's listening. What decisions are you going to make that's actually going to move you past your complaints? Because we got a lot of complaining. We got a lot of people talking about what they're going to do, what might happen if Trump get in office, what might happen if Kamala get in office. You ain't said nothing about that. You ain't said nothing about that. But from my understanding, this guy Tim, that supposed to be this vice president with Kamala, I heard something, I don't know how true it is, but I heard somewhere that he was against parents that was against their children having sex changes.
Wow.
This is what I heard. And I heard it, YouTube don't tell the truth all the time.
Right.
And I'm going to do some more research on that
Right.
and see if that's true. Because if he is against parents that's not agreeing with their children having sex change, I'm against him. Because I don't agree with that. No way am I going to agree with you labeling a parent a bad parent because they don't agree to their child having a sex change. I can't agree with that. And I don't think she should have nobody on her team that's agreeing to that. That's why I say I wish she'll come up here for herself, sit down in this room, and let me hear what is she going to do for the people of America. Not just black people, but definitely what are you going to do for the people that vote you in the office if they vote you in the office? What you going to do for them? And stand by that. If you say this what you're going to do, that way when they vote you in the office, if they vote you in the office, they can't be mad at nobody but themselves if you do the opposite. But they can be mad. Well, I ain't going to say they can be mad at themselves. They can accuse you of lying to them and not doing what you said you wasn't going to do. But my thing is, half of the people ain't looking for nothing to get done. They just going to complain when it get worse. They ain't looking for what's going to get done, and they don't care. Most people are just stuck on these emotions. And I'm like, make a logical decision. And you can't make a logical decision if you're not informed. You just can't. So you have to study and pay attention to something. You can't just listen to the hearsay. He say, she say this. He said that, she said this. You have to do research for yourself, which requires some time. So, let's say there comes a time when we do experience this, what people talk about, this martial law in America. Right. What is people going to do? What do you think? What can they do to survive under martial law?
Half of them ain't even ready. Half of them ain't even ready. They don't know what's going to hit them, man. It's going to come so fast, man. The same way like the corona. They had a curfew. You had to go. You see how fast that came? You had to go in the house, be in the house a certain time. You couldn't be on the interstate and stuff like that. This is round 2, which is going to be worse. because they already know that the country is preparing for war. You can look at all the other nations and see that half of them is already at war. So the more participate, only thing this country here is they waiting on the president to get in office before they go.
Well, that's the president in office now. You saying they reign on the president?
The next president.
The next president.
The next president.
You saying that's regardless to who in there
The
or
2020,
what
2025 is the new beginning for them to start, to bring in all the new stuff and take away all this old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's their agenda. AI is here. AI is right there knocking at the door, and they about to open the door and let it just come
When you
straight.
say AI is here, meaning artificial intelligence?
We use paper money now. That's what I mean.
Uh-huh.
The currency. The
Uh-huh.
currency is what controls everything. So it's all about the paper right now. It's all about money.
Mm-hmm.
Even the presidents and even Donald Trump and the vice president, all of them is raising money because it's about money right now. They done took all the money from the citizens to prepare for war. The war and the money is for the war, and the war will bring them more money after it's over. That's all it's about, more money. But this time, since it's more money, they need to keep their eyes on it. So more money, to keep their eyes on it, they make it digital. You couldn't give me $5. You couldn't give me $5. You couldn't give me $2 without them knowing. They controlling. They want full control of the system, of this currency. So any other country or nation that's out there that don't sit at their round table, that's what this war is for. Eradicate them. That's what this war is for. So if it comes, some it's just life. Some gonna be left at the they call it a wayside, you know what I mean? Because, it's just the system is too deeply into their mental. The American system is.
Yeah.
The
Okay,
program.
you got Democrat, Republican, which you got Trump representing the Republican. You got Kamala Harris representing the Democrats. Donald Trump representing the Republicans. So what do you think about JFK?
Well,
'Cause he's the third up runner for real, which people don't know if they don't understand that he still could become president. A lot of people don't know that. They think he's just out of the race. No, he's just not getting no media attention. They won't give him no interview on Fox.
Well,
They won't give him no. In fact, they won't give him no interview on Fox ever since he came to them in with a report that he had on how basically mercury was causing certain defects in mankind. So
yeah.
certain reports they don't want up there. So I ain't gonna get into all that right now. But
I did some research on.
But JFK can't get no interview on CNN, Fox, nowhere. You ain't seen him nowhere. But he's an option.
I did some research on Trump, and I was studying and checking Trump out ever since he was in office. Donald Trump, checking him out ever since he was in office. The first time, and his son, Jared Kushner.
Mm-hmm.
See, them two right there, you really have to keep your eyes on them because they fit the description of the prophecy that our ancient ancestors has already foreseen.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Jared Kushner was the one who wrote the peace agreement. See, everything has been playing out. Jared Kushner is the man that wrote the peace agreement for after World War III. See, they already knew World War III was headed this way because they're planning and initiating all of this. Donald Trump has received a crown from Israel. They actually gave him a crown and said it was a crown of King Solomon. King Solomon's crown or David's crown, one of them. But they gave it to him, and from ancient time, Israel always wanted a king. But God never wanted to get him a king. He always wanted to get him a Messiah. Mm-hmm. But Israel wanted to be like all the other nations, and they wanted a king. So in this present time, they gave Donald Trump a crown, and they looking at Donald Trump as their king. he's on the third temple coins, a coin that that they got his face on, that can only be used in the third temple. Now, according to ancient ancestors, that he will actually be one of the ones that goes in the temple after the war and declare that he's, God. You see what I'm saying? In so many words.
And where you get this information at?
This information is prophecy.
Prophecy?
Yeah, prophecy. Yeah, it's prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
And every action that is being taken place now, or what's going on, is actually manifesting itself. You see what I'm saying? So, therefore, after the war, the P.R.E.S S chip, which is radio frequency identification chip, that you have to have in one of your hands, right hand, left hand.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter. You see what I'm saying? But you can't use the system unless you have that chip. You see what I'm saying? Because that's going to be the new system. Whereas this is the only way that man can eat, buy, sell, or do.
And you saying all this gonna happen when
I'm looking
the
at
next president come in office?
That's the start. 2025 is the start. This is a 3-year war. World War III would be a 3-year war.
Mm-hmm.
So after the war, that's when the chip will become mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
It's here now.
Right.
There ain't no doubt about it.
Right.
And it's been here. But it's not mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
So if it ain't mandatory, out of sight, out of mind.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So
You say it's here now.
yeah, it's here now. It's just not by day law. You see what I'm saying?
By day law?
Yeah, push
Who is day law?
the new system.
The new system.
The new system. See, they getting rid of the old system.
So are you saying it's part of Project 225?
Or everything is a part of 25.
Okay, so when you say this is prophecy, whose prophecy?
Ancient ancestors.
Ancient ancestors'
Yes,
prophecy.
this is what our our righteous
Ancestors.
ancestors saw, prophesied, conscious, seen it. So
And
everything.
you read this somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I read a lot of books. But I'm just, because most people would say you're speaking conspiracy theory.
No,
That's what they would say. But you're speaking just basically. They'll say they try to say Malachi York was crazy, and Malachi York predicted certain stuff happening with, like when the trade centers got knocked down. You could go to some of the scrolls and he talked about that.
Well, actually, it's here. It's nothing
Yeah,
that
okay.
you know what I mean. It's nothing that should be surprising. Because if you want to look it
No,
up.
ain't nothing surprising.
No,
to me.
I'm not.
But I'm just saying, I'm listening to you.
I'm not directing that to you. I'm directing
No.
that
I'm
to
just saying in
the
general, even
audience.
if you're not directing it to me, like nothing should. I'm just saying in general, nothing should be surprising.
Right.
Ain't nothing new under the sun.
Right.
There's nothing new under the sun.
So look,
Nothing.
therefore, when this chip is mandatory, because
Mm-hmm.
we already know it's here. So when it's mandatory, the question that you asked earlier today for the audience is, what are you gonna do when it get here?
Mm-hmm.
At least have a plan. So this is what we are here for today, reasoning on, so we can wake your conscience up. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have a plan, then you can start getting a plan now, because it's on its way.
Okay. So pretty much, like, let's say this chip you're talking about that has to go in people. Let's say that, and I'm not being naive. Let me be advocate of the other side right now, and let me be the people's advocate that may say, hey, that's not true. This is not true. Okay. So if this chip is, let's say this chip is already here, like you said, could this chip possibly be the computer?
Yeah.
Could it be the
It's
5G?
part of it.
Okay, so if Trump is responsible for bringing in this stuff you're talking about,
Right, New World Order.
this New World Order, all right. So if he's responsible for bringing this in, some people it sound like the same thing you saying. It sounds like that's what the Project 225 opposition groups are talking about. They're saying that somewhat like he's going to bring in this new government and he's going to suspend the other authorities of the DOJ and things like that. So the Department of Justice itself and the FBI that they're talking about he's going to suspend, I'm asking myself this too now. I thought about when they said he's going to suspend the FBI, I was like, I wonder what the federal inmates think about that. That's in the feds. But they probably feel like they need to suspend it. You know how many guys locked up on conspiracy charges of drugs where they weren't caught with no drugs and actually doing 30 years and life sentences because of the FBI?
Right.
And they rules and they laws, the way they do things.
And
so it's some people there feel like the system needs to be rebuilt.
And setting up people too.
Right. And just just locking people up with no concrete evidence. Right. Just word of mouth. And the fact that guys don't have $100,000 to buy lawyers to fight, they have no fight in the feds when they get you with that conspiracy case a lot of times. And most guys end up taking a plea bargain or going and fight the system and they give them life sentences.
Right.
So it's like, I thought about it, I said, well, I bet these guys think that they need to suspend the FBI.
Is that the FBI that go in to be in the airport and if you got like 5 or 10, 15, 20,000 on you, they take it?
You talking about TSA?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you talking about TSA.
Okay.
No, but the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation units, you know, you got the Central Intelligence Agency with CIA. You got different forms of departments that really do need to be investigated.
Right.
They do.
Right.
But my thing is, they try to make all this seem bad.
Right.
The Department of DOJ, like that, I started thinking, okay, they gave Trump 34 felons. Is this their way of making it seem like he got this beef against the FBI and a beef against all these authorities?
Right.
Was this their means of pushing this? I'm like, where's the truth?
Right.
Where's the truth? Because you got speeches that you could pull up with Trump saying certain things, but never are you hearing him say anything exactly about Project 225. I don't really hear him directly speak on that. Now they say he pulling away from some of the ideas. But a lot of things that I saw in Project 225, and I could actually pull them up and read some of the things that I saw. And I'm going to do that right quick before we close out. Because we can come back to a part 2 of this later.
Right.
But I'm going to close this out after I do this. I'm just going to pull this up real fast. When I was reading about it. And it was like some of the agendas. It was like secure the border, finish building the wall, and deport illegal aliens.
That's what is that, top 3?
I'm telling you, this was on the agenda that I seen.
Oh, okay.
Next one was de-weaponize the federal government by increasing accountability and oversight of the FBI and the DOJ. Meaning increasing oversight, meaning increasing who monitors them. Wow. All right, so the next one was unleash American energy production to reduce energy prices. And I'm asking myself, would you want energy prices reduced? Or you want them to go up higher? So the next one was cut the growth of government spending to reduce inflation. Do you think government should be spending more money on fighting other people's wars and while we got poverty right here in America? Like, I'm just saying certain stuff of this, I was like, this stuff kind of makes sense. But then I'm learning that it's a lot of writings, other writings besides just this on it. So I started asking myself, who's telling the truth?
Right.
This is why I said, if we don't research, we're done.
Right.
And we don't really go into studying, we're done. Because the next thing on it after that, it said, make federal bureaucrats more accountable to the democratically elected president and Congress. Make federal bureaucrats more accountable to the democratically elected president and Congress. Not just the president and Congress. Right. All right? Because I heard some people say that the goal was to get Congress out the way where the president didn't have to answer to Congress. That ain't what they say right here. All right, and then it said improve education by moving control and funding of education from D.C. bureaucrats directly to parents and state and local government. So I'm saying, is that wrong?
Right.
Is that wrong? Hold up now. Then the next one says, ban biological males from competing in women's sports.
Right.
Meaning if you a man, you stay out of a woman's sport.
Right.
If you was born a male.
Right.
I'm like, is this stuff really wrong? You see what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
So who telling the truth?
Right.
And this is something we have to really take a look at and start understanding, like, what's really going on. And we got to ask ourselves. And that's why I want Donald Trump to come up here and talk for himself and answer some of these questions. Because, not necessarily from Project 25, but just some of the facts. Because when Donald Trump left office and the soldiers was pulled out of Afghanistan, we had a base, an Air Force base. America had an Air Force base.
In Afghanistan.
Yes, that was 1 hour away from where China made their nuclear weapons. Guess who owned it now? China.
China.
We sold it.
Oh, okay.
We gave it up to China.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
If you concerned, do you give somebody who may bomb your house access to property on your street so they can plot on you closer and destroy you? Or do you try to take that away?
Right. Well, something done.
So why would we want to lose our Air Force base when the American dollar was strong? We was able to purchase with an 8-foot block of concrete. Why would we want to lose that kind of base to China when it puts us an hour away from where they make their nuclear weapons at? Why? So you got to ask yourself, what's really going on?
What's really going on?
What's really going on, man?
That's facts.
Who's really for the American people and who's not? What's really going on? Because these reports are real. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, a lot of them have a twist to them. And if you don't do no research, you ain't going to know the truth. Because everything I spoke on up here today, you best believe I'm going to go research it some more.
Right.
And go deeper into it.
Right.
That's why I don't want nobody to take nothing I said up here on face value.
Right.
I want them to go do their own research.
That's facts. That's
But
facts.
do your own research, because that's the only way you're going to really learn and know.
That's facts.
Because in our reality, like, who's really protecting us and who's not?
Right. Right.
Because you can't fool me just because you say you're a Democrat or just because you say you're a Republican. I want to know, who are you? And what is your agenda? And do you really have our back as a people? Because I'm telling you, no more than Europeans can complain about illegal immigrants came over here. I'm not going for you Europeans thinking that this just America is just their land. Because it's not just your land either. We're Americans too. We're born here. We're born on this soil. Our ancestors may have been born other places. Amar Skinner was born in America, in Suffolk, Virginia, at Overseas Hospital. That's where I was born at. Yes, I am American.
The land belongs to the righteous.
The land belongs to the righteous. I was born here in America. I wasn't born in Africa. I wasn't born anywhere in Asia. I was born on American soil. My children was, and I'm going to protect American soil. This is where I was born at. And I'm going to use my education to protect it, because why would I let you just destroy it? I ain't starving right now. My people don't have to be starving right now. Our people that's starving out here is starving because of a lack of knowledge that they don't want to pay attention to. See, the truth hurt. The truth hurt. But knowledge is there for everybody to get it if you really want it. I'm not saying people ain't being manipulated. I ain't saying you got to listen to me, everything I say. I ain't saying you got to listen to everything nobody else say. But you better daggone at least listen to that voice inside of you that guides you right. Because that voice will tell you right from wrong. It's a matter of you listening to it.
And knowing who's speaking to you.
Knowing who's speaking to you. But the foundation is real, bro. We were born right here. for me to go to Africa and say, accept me, I'd be a damn fool.
Right. Oh, you don't need to go nowhere.
Why I need to go there for you to accept me?
You don't need
This is my homeland.
The earth.
And a lot of us was here. A lot of our ancestors was right here before slavery.
Yeah, the earth is Mother Earth. I don't need to go. I need.
Why I need to go somewhere else?
Protect Mother Earth.
I need to protect where I'm at on Mother Earth.
To protect Mother Earth.
And that's wherever I'm at.
All the babies.
Wherever I'm at, I want safety there. It don't matter if I'm in Jamaica. It don't matter if I'm in America's shores. It don't matter if I'm in South America, North America, Central America, on the Asian island somewhere. I need to protect where I'm at. And where I was born at, my homeland, is right here in America, in the state of Virginia. And so I'm going to protect that. I'll be a fool to just say, destroy all structure and just let it be chaos. No, I have children to protect. That's why I said, even when it was like, well, they don't want nobody in leadership who don't have children, I started laughing. I was like, man, for real, I don't want half of y'all in leadership who don't got no children, because half of y'all don't got no empathy if you don't got no children. You don't care about nobody but yourself.
All right.
And there's a problem in that. You can easily be manipulated and sold out for $1. You don't care if life go right from one day to the next, as long as you able to get up and do what you want to do.
You have to have something.
And that don't matter who they hurting. They don't have no empathy for life.
Right.
Most people with children, they care about something bigger than themselves. So they learn how to care about other people. So maybe you shouldn't be making decisions in family lives if you don't have no children. Who are you to make some decisions in somebody's life? You don't even know what it is to have a child and to raise a child. And you're going to make some decision in somebody's child's life. You definitely better. I ain't saying that person don't deserve to be part of the growth of the country or part of leadership. I'm not saying that. But for you to have the final decision and you don't have one child to consider,
yeah, you need to stay in your place.
You need to stay in your place.
Right.
The person who's making decisions about family need to have families. See what I'm saying?
Right.
So I mean, we just deal with truth, man.
Right.
At the press we do. The Prison Release Education Sanity Series came at you on the day about a lot of things political. Like I said, education over incarceration. We don't just deal with politics. We deal with religion. We deal with incarceration. We deal with the money sources. That's right. Where is the money coming from? Where is it going? And where is our people going based on following the money? Because everywhere, money path is not a good path. Some of it is just a trick that leads you to straight destruction. Peace.
Peace. Stand with the righteous.